Hello, welcome to another episode of Safer Cities. I'm your host, Odell Cleveland. I'm excited about this episode today. We have three special guests today to talk about safer cities in downtown. Our first guest will be Chief Wayne Scott, Chief of Greensboro Police Department, followed by our next guest is going to be Mark Prince. Mark is the president of Guilford Merchants Association. And then later on, we're bringing in a good friend of mine, Mr. Zach Matheny, and Zach is the president of Downtown Greensboro. So we are excited about what's going on in Greensboro. We're excited about safer cities. And Chief Scott, just to start it off, can you just, we've been talking about this for a long time, rebuilding downtown, safer cities, and how everyone plays a role. Give me your assessment, because I'm thinking everything's going great. Give me your assessment of why this is going so well.
Well, to recap, several months ago we began talking about the Safer City and the Summit, and we brought in a lot of our community to talk about what are the non-traditional parts of our community that can help make us safer.
Yes, sir.
Today's program, when we talk about downtown, you got to talk about the tremendous growth and the business. And so as I started over the last few months having conversation with our two guests today, as well as the business community at large, we started talking about what are the things that are happening in the business world that are tying together as well. And I think you're exactly right. We're seeing great growth. We're seeing people coming downtown. We're seeing just this excitement around what happens. And, safety is part of that. That's what makes them folks want to come downtown and repeat to come back downtown.
Right, and safety, stuff like the Wyndham, and even though the Wyndham didn't occur downtown, but we know that business bled downtown, restaurants, hotels, all the good stuff. And Mark, when you start talking about Guilford Merchants Association, you all have grown that so much. And being the new president, can you help us from your perspective? Because per capita income and jobs, we all need jobs. So can you talk to that, sir?
Absolutely, Odell. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And the fact is that for our businesses to be able to not just survive but thrive, they need to have the understanding and confidence that we're going to be safe, and as well as their employees. With GMA and First Point companies, we have almost 200 employees downtown it's imperative that we have the police presence and know that we're going to have a safe environment. And the members of GMA as well, as far as understanding, we have a number of events downtown that we have a lot of folks coming from outside of downtown, and for them to know that our police department is going to ensure their safety is very, very important.
I do a lot of business downtown, and this may or may not have that much to do with you, but something as simple as the parking. No parking there, and the fact that we have officers on foot patrol a lot, and on bicycles, and they're very visible. So how does that relate to when your people feel good, they feel safe, they come here, and a lot of things after hours? Can you share some of the positive feedback you're getting from that?
A tremendous feedback as far as just the safety of being downtown, and whether it's a grasshopper game across the street from where we're located, or whether it's a big event, the Folk Festival coming up here in a couple of weeks, holiday parade, with just a lot of events that go on in downtown. Just knowing that the presence is there. I've seen them on the bicycles, seen them on foot. They're interacting with the public on the street. I can't say enough about what the chief and his staff and department have done. And you'll talk to Zach Matheny here in a little while, but he and I with DGI understand just how important it is to keep that reputation, because other larger cities, especially even in our state, we're hearing things, reading things that we got to make sure if we're going to continue the momentum that we have going, it's imperative we continue to work on maintaining that relationship.
And one of the things that I've noticed, and I'm coming to the chief next, on some of the businesses that maybe things didn't work out quite right for them or have to do some self-correcting, I like the way, Chief, your leadership on going into those businesses, meeting with the business owners and letting them know, guys, this is creating this issue. Because, unintended consequences are still consequences. So, Chief, tell me how you all do a good job of working with, Mark and Zach and others and the business owners when things not going quite the way, some of the consequences are not what we would like.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, because one of the things that we have done, my staff will tell you, I tell our folks, we are ambassadors. you're wearing a GPD uniform, you're wearing the bike uniform, which is the bright yellow or whatever the case may be, you're an ambassador. But being proactive and working with the business community as a whole, I meet with numbers of groups of community leaders, both in our regular housing community and in the business world, and I go, so where are our points of friction? And if we see a business that maybe we've had issues around noise ordinance downtown, and but we believe in bringing everyone together and coming up with a viable solution, and we've been pretty successful with that. It may not happen quickly, but as we see long term, those effects are positive both for the community residents downtown, because we have a really thriving household community that's coming downtown now, part of it, to interact with those businesses, and those relationships have just grown. And folks like, from GMA and from DGI always are at the table with us to talk about what are the needs on both sides. So thank you for noticing that. And we've been able to slowly turn some of those venues that maybe weren't exactly fitting in to things that now fit in, and it's productive for the owners and for the community. And that's the ultimate goal for us.
And Chief, an example of that for Odell, GMA hosts a Center City briefing every other month. Okay. We bring a representative from the police department, from the city, the different departments within the city, and then a lot of the business owners downtown come together, and concerned citizens as well. It's open to the public, where we discuss issues or concerns or things that may be pertinent to the downtown, and obviously the police department is a very vital part of that.
And the safety, because as we have gatherings downtown in the governmental plaza and other things, it's good when you hear positive things, Chief, and I know you don't have the easiest job in the world, nor do anybody on this panel, but at the same time, what do you think has been the leading cause of your success with interacting with the business community, sir?
So I think it's no secret. It's no different than interacting with any part of our community. We have got to be proactive, and I think the police department's done it, and to some degree the city as a whole. Let's get to know our individuals that are driving business in this community, maybe even before they open their business. So we try to go out, the establishments downtown, we've seen this growth of restaurants and clubs, but equally you see these mom and pop stores, I call them. And so walking down there, spending some time, taking those lunch breaks and walking through and getting to know people. The bottom line is people will communicate with you much more if they see you as something more than just a police officer. And I say it all the time, and I'll say it again, I do it every one of your shows. We're part of the community too, and that's my plug. And so when we're looked at in that way, it's about balancing everybody's needs, and I think that's been a key to our success.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed, I've been here for a long time, longer than I thought, but the whole idea of panhandling, I know people have different perspectives on this, but it feels so good when you can come downtown and you don't feel that you're going to be approached by someone. Yes, I understand panhandling and people have certain things, so you feel so much better. My wife feels better. So from your perspective, the whole panhandling thing, how's that working better now that we have our hands around that?
Oh, much better. And I mentioned about other cities in our geographic area. I think that that is one thing that I think there's truly a difference. Yes. Is that because it has been a problem in the past, but I really don't see it, and it has improved significantly.
Good. And Chief, it was no issues. We heard of no issues.
Right.
So.
And you're right. I'll say that we're still working on some of that. I'm gonna be totally fair and honest.
It's not perfect.
No, we have a large unsheltered community that comes to Greensboro because we have so many services here, because of the good nature of the people in Greensboro and the many of the groups that we have formed. And so it's a balance. But equally, it's a great topic to bring up because it is a balance that we balance with our community, we balance with those service providers, and with the business community. And that's a constant dialogue as the downtown changes that I hope that you will even see before the end of this year some other changes could occur. So thank you for acknowledging that, and it's an ongoing thing, but we're getting there.
Good. And gentlemen, again, thank both of you all so much for what you do, because I love Greensboro. I love downtown, and I've seen downtown in the last 15 years change. And to our viewers, one of the things, now I'm excited, we're getting ready to go into our next guest with Zach Matheny. And when you start looking at all the development downtown, people want to build downtown, people want to do things downtown, that's a blessing, because this is our city, and I consider it the economic heartbeat. So please prepare as I get ready to introduce my friend, Zach Matheny, who's the president of downtown Greensboro and what a great job he's doing. And by the way, I'm just envious of his hair. I'm envious of his hair. As I lose mine, you'll see why. Thank you so much. Again, welcome back to this episode of Safer Cities. We have our good friend here, Zach Matheny, who's the president of Downtown Greensboro Incorporated, along with Chief Scott and myself. Zach, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Again, we talked a lot about downtown, but one thing we didn't talk about, and I'm excited about, the residents downtown. Share with us how many people are actually coming back downtown to live, and then we're going to ask the chief, what does that mean, and how does he plan for that? Because maybe we don't have as many as we were expecting, but in the future we know we'll have that number.
Absolutely. We did it a little bit different in downtown. Okay. We have a lot of businesses, but we don't have as many residents. For example, we've got less than 1% of our population. Wow. So we've got about 2,700 people living downtown right now. Mm-hmm. Our goal at downtown Greensboro is to get to 5,000 to 10,000. Right. It's going to take us some time, but we've got over 300 units coming online next year. So we're going to continue to grow residential population.
And when you think about growing residential population, I had a meeting the other day with Roy Carroll, and he was so excited about his units coming on downtown, and how he was saying, Odell, he thought it would be millennials coming in, but it's not. It's people like me who's coming downtown. So the demographics, is that surprising or not really?
I think it is, actually, and we recently moved our office to a street level office building. Mm-hmm. And to see and be able to watch everybody, the diversity of coming downtown. It's everybody's downtown. And so having the mature adults, as well as the millennials, it's a fad that's really over the country. In Greensboro, it's exciting. It really should be exciting for everybody.
Well, and I'll ask the chief, but we've done such a good job of recovering from textiles, tobacco, furniture. We were wrestling with those issues 15 years ago. So now, it's coming back, and we appreciate that. So Chief, with coming back residents living downtown, so you're looking at noise ordinance, you're looking at a lot of different things. How do you change your strategy for people like me who come downtown and live downtown, and maybe, just maybe, I want to go to bed at 10 o'clock at night,
Well, you're right. It's a complex model. We're looking at exactly what Mr. Matheny said, that we may have double our residents in 12 months. Mm-hmm. And that's a thriving part of our community that we have to serve as we would any traditional model in a residence, answer 911 calls, whatever the case may be. At the same time, in the next few months, we're going to be seeing probably our Performing Arts Center start to come online. Yes. And we're going to have this transient population that can come in for just nighttime hours. How do we police for that? How do we staff for that? So I've been having a lot of discussion with the city manager and even some of the members of council about how do we prepare for that. So in the coming year, the coming budget year, you're going to see some things that I'm asking for to increase our footprint a little bit, because not only do we need manpower, we need kind of specifics to what we do. It's a little bit different. So we're looking at that already. It's a challenge. The makeup based off of what you just said, people looking at different expectations for noise. Mm-hmm. It goes a little beyond the police department. We've helped guide that through some of the building codes, looking at being more aggressive in becoming that modern city that looks at where do we put certain things downtown. And I'm glad to say that we're making progress, finally making some progress to say, yeah, we'd love to have this place that has live music, but maybe that's not the right building. Maybe it needs to be here and insulated a particular way. So I am pleased and I'm proud of Greensboro for stepping up to the plate and starting to make some of those decisions as well.
So Zach, when you started dealing with that, what the chief said, you was talking about the zoning commission. You talk a little bit of everybody, neighborhood associations, so everybody. And when the people said, I'm going to live and work and play downtown, so I'm going to buy a building and I'm going to work, my shop's going to be downstairs, my residence going to be upstairs, and where's the supermarkets coming in? Where is all the other things that's going to be coming in? Where's the urgent medical that may be, all those different things. How do you plan for all that?
It's a team effort. I think Mark Pritt said it earlier today, the Center City briefings that are once a quarter that the GMA hosts, getting everybody in the room, talking through it, laying everything out on the table, what needs to go where, and putting the pieces of the puzzle together. I can tell you, coming back around to whether it's zoning, whether it's the pretty flowers we've got on the hanging baskets, whether it's the public art that we're doing, We've got over $500 million that's getting ready to be invested, or is currently invested in.
500. Say that again.
$500 million.
Wow.
That, in the over 2 years, that's going to infiltrate and build downtown Greensboro. But if you don't have a safe city, it doesn't work. And what the police department has done with their Center City team, the resource team, working with the business owners, working with them, working with Clean and Green, it's been phenomenal. And I got to say this, if you let me. Fun Fourth, we had over 100,000 people downtown.
Wow.
And
Good.
that's big, but it doesn't work unless everybody feels safe.
Right.
And to see the men and women on our police department laughing, joking, making sure everybody got across the street because traffic's everywhere, cars don't stop, and just seeing the interaction, the police department really made that Fun Fourth event even a better success than it ever would have been. They did a phenomenal job.
So with that, though, we hear about Boston Strong. We hear about, when are we going to start hearing Greensboro Strong? When is going to be pride in Greensboro? Because I know it's there, because folks come out in the diversity, the inclusion, everything is there. That's where we're going. That's where we're going, and all the business. Hey, listen, why not me? Why not me? I don't have the hair, but I have some thoughts in there. But at the end of the day, we are proud of who we are. We're Greensboro, and we're proud of Greensboro. Are we perfect? No. But I don't think nobody's perfect, and I don't think we have to be perfect. I think we have to be walking in that direction, and that's why I'm so excited about all the things. Now, here's another question for both of you gentlemen. As we expand the city's got to get larger. It's got to get larger. The footprint of Greensboro, if you had your way, how much larger would downtown Greensboro become?
We're 99 blocks right now. I'll tell you the truth. We're getting ready to, in the next 4 to 6 weeks, announce a new project that's a $100 million project.
Wow.
And it's going to be very exciting.
Wow.
So we're going to grow.
Okay.
And people are feeling good about downtown. I think we were kind of sleepy there for a little while, like you mentioned earlier. We missed the boat a couple ways. But now
I didn't say we missed the boat. I said we were sleepy. I didn't say we missed the boat. But
said it.
There you go.
We tripped on a few things, but now everything's coming back to the center. Mm-hmm. Downtown Greensboro's everybody's downtown. It's not a neighborhood. It's everybody's neighborhood, which is awesome. And we're going to continue to grow, and it's going to be phenomenal. Good. But again, if we don't have a safe city, it doesn't grow.
Well, it's interesting. The Chief alluded to the fact that if he gets what he's going to ask for, and you alluded that you're going to make an announcement in a couple months. Now, on this show, I would give both of you gentlemen an opportunity to make that announcement now. What do you think you want to ask for, or is not time yet? What do you want to ask? Because what people want to know is, okay, when they sit in Roy Carroll's new luxury apartments and someone hit a grand slam home run and it hits the window, what's going to happen? All that kind of stuff. But I'm putting you all on the spot, but not putting you on the spot. Chief, how can we get the community behind what the tools necessary? Because if the community wants to hold ones responsible, we have to give one the tools to do the job.
Absolutely. Without getting into the specifics, I can tell you, when you're downtown, you mentioned Boston, you go to New York, there's a sense of seeing their officers on each corner, out and about. And in order for us to achieve that, we've simply got to have some changes in the way we deploy and our manpower. The Greensboro Police Department hasn't grown in number in about 7 years.
Wow.
So I am going to be building a case and hopefully present to the manager who will present in next year's budget. I think it's time for us to actually look at a few additional resources that are specifically designed for our downtown and the downtown growth. Can't give you the numbers yet because we're working up all those things, but the manager's supportive, council supportive. We want to get that. We've already got it. We want to keep that as the city grows.
Okay. Well, I'm very supportive of downtown Greensboro and the growth, and been a part of these committees for 15 years now. So just anything we could do to help, we want to help. And Zach, from your perspective, because jobs mean something, people have to have jobs. And a lot of the businesses that's coming in that you talked about and Mark talked about is jobs. At the end of the day, it's jobs, it's per capita income, it's tax dollars, all these things. Because if we're saying the city should do this and should do this, where's the revenue coming from? Because to have these things, to provide the social services, to help with the nonprofits and all the things that people are coming here for, it really comes from tax dollars or wealth, people giving. So from your perspective, anything you can share now, how many jobs do you see coming in the near future?
Thousands. You know, Lincoln Financial has ramped up and is hiring a bunch of folks, and we're working on some technology company announcements. We've got a few more things. But I also tell you this. I'm meeting this afternoon with somebody that is a development of affordable homes.
Wow.
And so it's not just about luxury in downtown. Downtown's for everybody. And so hopefully we can work with the housing groups that are meeting and see with the city and do some affordable housing downtown for some folks as well. And my biggest plea for folks in this community would be, if you see a man and woman that's in the police department, shake their hand and say thank you, because they are really providing that safe city that makes us feel good. And every chance I get, I'd like to shake their hand and say thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
Now, you know, it's interesting to the viewers. Everybody understands the direct correlation between safer cities and a better downtown. Safer cities and people want to invest downtown. Safer cities and the fact that people want to create jobs downtown. Safer cities and people want to do entertainment downtown. We need our downtown to grow. For that to happen, we need our downtown to be safe. So please, we ask you to continue to support the Safer City initiatives and all the good things that we're doing. And to Zach's point and to the Chief's point, if you see a police officer, hey, shake their hand. Tell them thank you, we appreciate it. Until the next episode, this is Odell Cleveland, your host, signing off, saying thanks again for viewing this episode of Safer Cities. Gentlemen, thank you, and I appreciate it for the great job that you're doing. Zach, for the great job that you're doing too. And again, we appreciate it, and we love Greensboro. Greensboro strong. You know, it's nice out here today, getting ready to bless the building. We know that the city and the police officers protect and serve us, and the question always remains, who protects and serves those who protects and serve us? So today's a good day as we come and celebrate and look at how we can continue to have community unity and just make the dream a reality.
So now to kind of the business at hand. What are we here for today? We're here to mark the grand opening of this great facility that connects our police department and our community. We're here to talk about some of the generosity of our community that has helped us be better at our jobs and helps us keep this community safe. Lastly, we're here to talk about this moment in time. And so that's my lead in to talk about time capsules. What we're going to do today, we're going to be burying 2 time capsules, one of which was populated by the community. Items that were brought in from our community, and it was a vast variety of different items that I think will intrigue folks 100 years from now. Secondly, we are going, the second time capsule, and you can see the photographs on both sides, are actually things that are about policing. I've been policing just about close to 27 years here in the city of Greensboro, and in my 27 years I've seen vast changes. I can only begin to imagine what a police department 100 years from now will undertake. But I'm sure of one thing, and I actually put this in a letter to the chief from 100 years from now. Advisory Council would actually bless our building before we enter into it on this official ceremony. So, Pastor, thank you for being here.
This time would invite you to join me in blessing the building. Ask you to join me in whatever tradition, custom, or culture that you're comfortable with as I bless the building in the tradition, custom, and culture that I'm comfortable with. You know, it's interesting. Many of us here today are leaders. We make so many decisions in this city that affect so many people. We continue to ask God to help us in our decision making. Let us pray. Father God, we just say thank you for this opportunity. It's just so much going on in our country, in our state, in our city. But we have a time to celebrate, God. God, many of us are leaders in this group. We're celebrating those today who we call upon to protect and serve us, God. But God, as leaders, the question remains, who's protecting those who we ask to protect us? Who's serving those who we ask to serve us? God, it comes down to leadership. We as leaders have to stand behind and support those who go out and put their lives on the line every day, God. We have to protect and serve those who protect and serve us. God, we ask for strength as we also protect and serve the community, God. God, being a leader is easy when things are easy. The cup of leadership is sweet when it's easy, like cold, sweet iced tea. But God, how about it when the cup of leadership has so much tension? When the steam of opposition comes from that cup. As leaders, we still must drink from that cup, God. We must drink from the cup when the cup is a cup of agony also. Because we're asking people to put their lives on the line for this community. We have to be bold enough to drink from the cup, God. God, we have an example found in the Garden of Gethsemane. Many of us, when there's opposition, would want to say the same prayer. If this cup can pass from me. But let us be reminded that at the cost of leadership, we must say, but not our will, but thy will be done. It costs to be a leader. God, we thank you for this building that's going to bless this community. And we bless this community and we bless those who we ask to protect and serve us. We thank you and we praise you. Amen.
Incredibly strong words. Thank you, Pastor. So now we are going to have the right and the privilege to rededicate. Councilman Allen, going to make it. There we go. I'll ask the mayor and the city manager to join me.
Thanks.
These are sharp. Please be careful. So what we will do, if we're pulling tall, is on the count of 3, we will officially reopen the 100 Police Plaza. 1, 2, 3. Yay!